Okay, hello everybody. As I said this morning, my presentation was to give everybody an overview of the senior school reform and what that looks like for Warrnambool College. So what we are looking at here is the 2023 senior school pathways available to Warrnambool College, and I just want to get you to keep in mind that the whole goal of the reform is that by 2025 we will have transitioned through all of this into one VCE. There won't be the two different colours there you see in blue and green. It'll be just the one certificate where any student should be able to choose any unit for what they require for their pathway. So it might be a VisCom plus an English plus some work placement plus a TAFE plus the maths. Should be able to choose anything and everything from 2025, but we're in that transition stage. So for next year we have the VCE as we know it, with that traditional pathway through a scored program onto an ATAR. Then a VCE vocational major there in the green has absorbed what we know and love as VCAL, so that has requirements there of that VET course, structured workplace learning, which then can pathway into a multiple of pathways and destinations from there. And the one on the right is the Victorian Pathway Certificate, which is for those not yet ready to complete a senior school certificate, which I'll go on into in a minute. What you'll notice here is that I haven't put unscored VCE there as a potential pathway, because it should not be an option that's decided on in the beginning of senior school. It's a choice that can be made in terms 3 and 4 of year 12 only, so it's not something that we're advertising as a selection for our year 10s, 11s and 12s. So here we are. This is just a bit of detail about those three potential pathway choices in 2023. It says what they are. So that VCE in the blue there, again, is that scored intentional pathway through to an ATAR, moving on to university. The vocational major in green is that applied vocational learning, where it sets students up for industry connection and employment immediately post-school. And the VPC is designed for those students there, as it says, who are not ready for the 2-year VCE or VCE VM. And it's really important to note here that this is not a senior school certificate. It does not meet the entry requirements for post-school options that require a senior school completion. So that's a really important one. At Warrnambool College, we'll be offering the VPC within a VM classroom. So lots of jargon here where you're starting to hear the acronyms. But so the VPC student might be sitting in a VM classroom, just getting the differentiated content there. A bit more information here. This is a lot to take in. It's just to show the what's required of each of those pathways, and basically the upshot is that we'll notice the VM in green does require a TAFE course or a VET course, does require structured workplace learning, and does require a math, 2 sequences of maths throughout their year 11 and 12, where a VCE does not. So that is a noticeable change there. And going on to the additional requirements and expectations there in the bottom, this is all available to staff, and I will the handouts are in my office, but also I'll attach them to this as well for more information should you need it. A really important factor here, just for year 11s this year, so year 11 in 2022, whether it's VCAL currently or VCE currently, they are all required to bring with them at least 6 S's or 6 units from this year to be able to have success in their year 12 in either the VCE or the VCE VM. Without those 6 credits, which has to include literacy, it is possible for them to not succeed next year as a year 12, and in that case they would potentially be the last cohort to be taught out a year 11 VCAL. So I'll essentially continue on and finish off with a year 11 VCAL next year should they not achieve 6 S's in 2022. So at the moment the senior school team are addressing students who potentially are at risk with that, and identifying those that may fit in that category. Otherwise, every year 11 who has passed more than 6 credits should be choosing either the VCE or the VCE VM for their year 12. This one here is to bring your attention to the next year is also bringing in a new subject selection called the VCE Collaboration Project. This is where students will be able to choose a subject hosted by one of the 3 other high schools as well as us. And they are offered on the Thursday period 3 and 4 only, so that those 2 periods, as well as an online 1-hour recorded class which they can participate in. So because it's in that Thursday period 3 and 4, it means they cannot be doing a VET as well as they run at the same time. These VCE collaboration project subjects are on the student subject selection if they are in Year 12 as their 3-4 units. Any more information on that, Sarah and Matho are the 2 key contacts for our school. Just on VET, so this year in 2023, VET courses will only be offered to Year 11s and 12s, and they are a compulsory requirement of the VCE VM and an optional add-in for a VCE program. And just to get your help with this, as I do every year, the VET enrolment process is an involved one. So there are 5 steps that students need to do until they're to ensure that they are considered for a VET place. We're over there at step 1 and 2 at the moment, where students have selected their subjects in subject selection, and now they're required to do the step 2, which is that VET enrolment form. House officers should have these. The careers office certainly does, and they're available on the prospectus as well, which is the form where they say who they are, they get parent signatures, they elect their course, and they have to provide the USI number, which we know and love as a process for all students to have to do. Details of how they can do that are on the form, so please make sure that any student who has subjects selected for a VET now moves on to that second stage of the hard copy VET enrolment form, which is required back to the careers office by the end of August. Step 3 will also require some help from house officers if possible, please. It'll be where students do the online section of their enrolment, which we have been through before, so it should be familiar. And then first years will have an interview with their VET teacher, and then the final step is the VET contribution fee, which is $150, and then wrapping it all up in about September for places to be formalised in October. So it's a lengthy process and it will take a village, and I super appreciate your help with all of that. Moral of the story is, with any of these senior school reform things, VET or collaboration, or moving on through to work placements and school-based apprenticeships, Sarah and myself are always here, and Shelli is a guru go-to in all things senior reform, so please don't hesitate to ask us any questions. Always good on the email, but it's better, no question is a stupid question, because this is all fairly involved, and it will change again next year as our timetable potentially does. And then again, eyes on the prize for a 2025 all-in-one VCE. Bye.